It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're actually doing a follow-up on the original fake content in the DBD space, video. And this was actually suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community, so I really appreciate you guys suggesting these to be discussed. And if you want to be able to do that, you can go ahead and join the Discord link in the description, accept the rules with the knife emotes. But this one is from Handle Barbells YT, titled Immortals is Worse Than We Thought, Even More Proof. So this is actually, as we just stated, a follow-up to this. And I wanted to get into a little bit more detail and to try to give a little bit more of a spotlight onto how bad the content space can really be in the DBD community. And the people going around and condoning this are also part of the problem, because we really should have a better standard for what we consume, I would say. And I think that by people literally staging and faking content, and not even on top of that, but also adding in stage racial commentary to add on to that, is actually kind of insane, right?
Yo.
Hello. Sorry I missed your comment last night.
Ask what you want to. No problem.
I guess my first question would be, are you and Immortal still friends?
No. I left playing with them or making videos week ago.
Okay, I kind of picked up on that based off of some of the comments you hearted, / it seems he took you off the friends list on YouTube.
Yes, I mean he was doubling down instead of accepting mistake. Was too much.
Could you explain in the best of your ability how the staged video...
So as we're seeing here, from what I understand, not only are we having them double down, at least one of them is. The other one apparently seems like they are trying to separate themselves, but I mean, I don't think they're any better, considering that they participated and then profited off of the, fake content that was really being made here. I do think that there is a lot to be said with that type of situation, and this entire situation really is unfortunate, right? Because there's a lot of creators that probably could start up their stuff and try to actually, create some good stuff and actually try to grow their communities and channels, but they don't even start, because when they see people like this that are just making and faking content and being able to just get like hundreds of thousands of views for basically doing a bunch of staged BS. And of course, as I've stated many times, the DBD community is very obsessed with the slop content and not really interested in anything of quality, for some reason. I really don't know exactly why. And things that are actually educational, or things that are actually going to provide some kind of conversation or something to really think about or listen to, or something of quality, no, they're not concerned with that, because as you can see. And then there's still people that will continue to watch the fake staged slop content posted every day, which is kind of ridiculous. But let's continue.
Videos were made.
Queue up together at same time or disable crossplay.
So there you have it for what Hex was able to tell me. Now hold on, we're going to get to my anonymous source, and it's pretty nutty. So let's do that right now. Do you think he has stolen others' thumbnails?
Everything on his channel is stolen and copied from others. Titles, thumbnails, video ideas, everything. Even before Quiet Kills made his video, I thought about deeming Spookinjukes, telling him everything because he makes this type of content exposing bad creators. But I couldn't because I...
Now, I'm not going to speak on specifically other creators in that sense, but I will say that I don't imagine that this particular person would have really actually exposed anything. Or they would have found some kind of way to also create some form of slop from it. And that's just for like what I've seen, you know what I mean? I'm not really like, it's not supposed to be offensive, you know what I'm saying? We're just, just going off of what I've seen, of course. Nothing beyond that, of course. But it is unfortunate that, like I've even stated just previously, like that this community unfortunately has a slop content problem, as we've seen before. Because the fact of the matter is that, like I've just stated, like people can sit here, steal everything from everybody else, make fake content, stage the content, fake even like and even like throw out a bunch of like racist commentary in there as well to really add on to just like layers and layers of this. And then they profit, and then there's still people out there that genuinely believe this is fine. You're literally blatantly being given like garbage. Like you're basically being given basically junk food. You know what I mean? You're not being given anything of quality or anything that people are putting any effort and thought into. And instead you're just taking that, and it's kind of insane to me. You know what I mean? It really is really odd. I don't understand why that's the case. But unfortunately, that is just how it goes.
Didn't have enough courage.
Has he ever view botted to your knowledge or subscriber botted?
He even used to have hacked account which got banned, but he still has one that his brother uses. Like injected stuff all unlocked. I'm not completely sure. v.h.s.x's video blew up. This is real, not staged. They got the idea from this and started making scripts. One of them used to DM me what I need to say in chat.
So yeah, there you have it. Hex gave his side of the story. My anonymous source gave his. Now, I do wish I could say who my anonymous source was, but they specifically asked me not to put any information about them because they're afraid of possible retaliation from Immortals himself. So if that kind of goes to show you what type of position that they're in. Now, I know this isn't a whole lot of content to watch here, so if you'd like to stick around, I also have some video of me going through.
So as you're really hearing here that like there's an additional proof, there is a lot of stuff to really unravel when it comes down to this topic. I think there's a lot of things that need to be sort of laid out here. So yeah, I mean, let's really think about this topic and really talk about it. And one of the main things that comes to mind when talking about fake content and talking about just how bad it gets, it's like you have to think about it from the perspective of somebody trying to get into this community. And there's a couple different kinds of people that are probably watching this content. One, maybe there's people that want to learn the game, they want to learn education, they want to be able to understand how to combat against the bully squads. And keeping in mind that even like when I was watching some of these videos, they were making at least like 15 different mistakes just in the first minute. They weren't even really countering much of the actual bully squads in the first place. So even though it was supposedly bully squads, right? You're already, say that you didn't even know that it was a fake bully squad of any kind, and you thought it was real, right? The fact of the matter is that you literally aren't going to learn anything because they're already making a ton of mistakes. Secondly, it's fake, so you're still not learning anything. So the people that are going in to actually watch it to maybe pick up a thing or two still doesn't get that out of it. And then we also have to keep in mind as well that on top of the fact that they're not able to learn anything, it's also just like fake content. These people don't really care about what they're really putting out there. They're there for the quick buck, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And it's really unfortunate because it's like people are okay with being essentially scammed out of good content. They're essentially okay with being sort of just given the lowest common denominator. And what's worse is that I think it's probably harder for people to know that this stuff was fake because of the mere fact that a lot of people are not the most experienced in the game, and that's a given. Like the vast majority of DBD players are casuals. The vast majority of DBD players are low MMR, average MMR. Like they're not going to be able to tell the difference. So the only few people that are like veterans are going to be able to notice it and be like, that doesn't make any sense. And of course, we have Quiet Kills exposing it. Of course, it was recommended to me by some of you guys in the community and stuff like that. So I, of course, covered it as well. And even on paper, when I'm looking at it, I was like, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also, the frequency of the bully squads, it's like, that doesn't even make sense. Like mathematically, like you don't get bully squads that often. So to be able to make a full channel off of it is already crazy enough. That isn't like possible naturally. That just isn't a thing that happens. So that's where I'm coming from with that. Now, the other aspect of it is like from a content creator's perspective, it's like, damn, like there are people that maybe want to start making content and they just can't because they will sit there and think, wow, like I try to make stuff and I can't even get close to the same amount of views as these people do, right? And then they already have like a team of people basically just ready to fake it, you know what I mean, ready to farm views and content because they understand that the DBD community only cares about like just the lowest common denominator of content. They don't care about commentary, they don't care about, you know, the vast majority don't care about topics. They're mostly concerned with, oh look, a bully squad, oh. And it's like cool, like it's fun like the first time around, but it gets repetitive and boring, but for some reason, you know, it just works, right? So that's like just where I'm coming from in that sense. And it's just really interesting to me that for some reason it gets popular, for some reason, you know, it's even this bad where it's like you have sources where people are either trying to separate themselves even though they'll still make the same fake content. I mean, regardless of their apologies, regardless of the quote unquote mistakes they're making, it really does not make a difference. They're going right back and continuing to make that same content because they know that there's still people that are dumb enough to continue to watch it. And it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? It really is unfortunate because, you know, people that probably are out here that could make really solid stuff or probably could be out here making a difference or making something unique for the community and providing something, you know, new, will just probably not be able to do that, or will just not even try because they can see that effort is not something it's not rewarded. And at least for myself, like I'm already kind of burnt out with the game as it is. I'm already pretty burnt out with the content as it is when it comes down to this game. So like I really don't think there's really much ways even for myself that I can reinvent the wheel. And as you guys know, that I used to actually post gameplay videos. I used to post you know, gameplay all the time. And I switched over to commentary, as you guys know, which is what we're doing now. But I used to do that. You know what I mean? And just to think, like, even back then when I was trying to, like, climb my way up to relevancy, at least to some form of relevancy, because, you know, I can't say I'm the most relevant even now. But regardless, the fact of the matter is that to think that, like, even trying to climb up in the gameplay space when it comes down to the game, it's like, where, like, how and where am I going to do that? You know what I mean? Especially when it's that easy to just fake the content and they already have people that are like, at least, what is it, like 5 people that are in total that are willing to go into a custom and switch their names and do all this type of stuff. Like, it's insane. And there's probably like multiple people profiting off of it. They're probably doing a split, you know what I mean? And they're making a buck. And it's insane, right? Because like, say one person like myself that say would want to post gameplay again, either A, it won't be watched, or B, like I'm getting, you know, basically drowned out by the people making fake garbage. So it's like, what is the point? Like, what is the point, like, at least from my perspective, to even begin to try to do that, to even begin to do anything, let alone the game is already horribly unbalanced and very extremely favored to the survivor end. You know what I mean? The killers are just freaking awful now. You know what I mean, at this point. So it's like, what is the point? You know what I mean? And that's it's unfortunate, right? Because like we even get comments that say like you're just being negative and you're never praising the game, never praising the community. It's only negativity, and only highlighting the toxicity. But it's like, that's the only thing that's prevalent. That's the only thing that is common in this community. There's very little to discuss when it comes down to positive content, that comes down to positive things in this community or this game. Right? The developers are not interested in trying to make the killers actually a powerful force, considering that they have superpowers and they're either monsters or well-known licenses in this game, and they just refuse to actually put any effort into them, which is really strange to me. I mean, like the community is also pretty terrible. Like they either praise people that are toxic or praise people and promote people that are creating fake content in this case. So it's like, what is left? You know what I mean? Like you're a small fish in a big pond. You know what I mean? You're really just trying to kind of, you know, scrape off the little crumbs that kind of fly past, right? Because at the end of the day, like it's a rat race and you're trying to win. And it's unfortunate, you know what I mean? It really is. I really wish that there was more to be passionate about when it comes down to the game. Like it's just unfortunate that, you know, we are in this community where it's at right now. We're in the state of the game where it's at right now, which it hasn't improved at all, pretty much. Like I thought it'd be interesting to actually get like to actually start playing Vecna, but even Vecna suffers from the same problems that the game has already been suffering from for ages now. So like there really isn't much to say. There really isn't much to add. There really isn't much to do in that sense. And I'm quite frankly tired of it. You know what I mean? And I still see people are just obsessed with this game for some reason. Unfortunately, like even like when people tried to stay to play other stuff to do variety, like it's not like people are showing up for it. You feel me? Like you know what I mean? It's like people will say that they want the new thing, or people will say they want to see this new thing, but they don't actually want to do that. They're obsessed with comfort. They're obsessed with the same old, and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff within this space, and that's why it goes so deep, and that's why that's why we're on this long yap session. Because when it comes down to the content discussion within this game, as you can see, like fake content and overblown, you know, over exaggerated, blown up, like nonsense is going to do better than you just like actually talking about something like a topic that's interesting, or making something that's genuine, or actually putting an effort into things. It's just simply, you're just gonna get drowned out. It takes controversy, it takes toxicity, it takes a lot of other stuff to actually get you to get noticed. Or you have to somehow be outstanding over the rest, and it's like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? So it gets to a point, man. It really does. It's just terrible, like how bad the everything is with this game, and it's exhausting to have to continue to be a part of it, to be associated with it. It's so exhausting. Like it would be nice to be proud of, you know, the game and be proud of the things that you make within the space, but it's like, what's the point, man? Like, what is the point anymore? You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people will still have the rose tinted lenses when they look at this game for some reason. I think that it's just like, you know, there's only so much that you can really tell people. There's only so much that you can show people at this point. Like, you know, a lot of people will plug their ears, cover their eyes, and just pretend like it's not there. At the end of the day, I mean, that's what it really seems like. So that's pretty much like just what I wanted to talk about today, because it's kind of getting exhausting. You know what I mean? With this space, with this content, I mean, it's ridiculous. And hopefully it gets better. I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the topic at hand today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off our members from Patreon. Pro King 101, YouTube members: Cargan Falcon, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Cozy Bozy, Theo Endire, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. And for the Twitch, we have Final Girl Bunny, Leona Art, Zazabu, Evil Blade, Danica, Crow Vader, Cake is a Road, Zeneron, Ginsburg, Mr. Morick, Kevin, Zero Mocker, Ashai Boo, and Gryffindor. Appreciate you guys supporting. Really means a lot. If you want to become a member, you can go ahead and join through Patreon or YouTube members, or even sub on Twitch. See you guys in the next one.